Welcome to Under the Sheets with Tatiana Ashbourne and friends, brought to you by Dirty Talk. I'm Tatiana Ashbourne, and this is my friend. This is Danielle, everybody.
Hello!
Welcome to Under the Sheets with me, Tatiana Ashbourne, and all my friends. Laugh about it.
Give it to me, baby.
Learn about it. Love it or hate it. Let's do it. Under the Sheets with Tatiana Ashbourne and friends. Coming up in this episode.
And then he suddenly started crawling down the bed head first. And where are you going? What are you doing? Why am I seeing this bottom?
Stay tuned to see what's under the sheets. Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Beyond a pleasure.
Why did you want to come on the show? Are you regretting it right now?
No, I'm not.
Okay, that's
I'm
good.
nervously excited because, actually, if I think about it, I have had quite a life already.
Oh!
And if I can share anything that either is helpful, amusing, or titillates, or shocks both of us, then it's my pleasure.
Yeah, perfect. Do you get pleasured a lot in the bedroom?
Yes,
Oh, wow, I'm pleased.
a lot. I have to fight him off with a stick sometimes.
Perfect. Okay, that's
So-
very good. Has it always been like that throughout your relationships?
Absolutely not.
Okay, tell me more.
That's a song line, isn't it? In Pink as well. My current love and only true love has defied every expectation.
Wow.
From every bar one, and he wasn't English, and that was a long time ago.
Okay, was that a one night thing?
No, it wasn't. It was an international, whenever we met up in the same country type of thing.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that shows the depth of the chemistry, and there was chemistry here as well as. It was the whole package and the accent. What can you do?
Was it a big package or?
It was a perfectly perfect. It was
Perfect
fantastic.
size.
It was.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll do a couple of would you rathers to really get you going. Would you rather be able to have sex, but only if a tarantula is crawling on you, or never have sex again?
I am not good with spiders.
Okay, so you would never have sex again.
That would be a tough one because I really do like sex.
Okay.
Ooh, just the once the tarantula crawling across me, or wandering around during sex.
Wandering around during, and you don't want.
And
that
I would
on
know
you.
about it.
Yeah, well, probably. I mean, maybe if you might get used to it after a while, though.
Oh, that is a seriously worrying question. I would do my best to keep going.
Okay. Yeah,
do
power
my-
on through.
I would do my utmost to keep going.
Yeah. Good answer. Good answer. Okay, would you rather always finish blowjobs with cum in your mouth or on your face?
It's a messy business, all in all, really.
Yeah.
It can be a messy business. And for the viewers at home, I not that I wish to be presumptuous every single night, but I will always leave some tissues ready, already out the box, because it's such a pain in the arse to have to lean across to grab the tissues. No, so I've always got tissues already pulled out.
The worst thing is when you don't have any tissues and you've got to find something like a towel or old pants.
When the
Does anyone do that?
when my other half has suggested, here, I've got some boxers. No, I do not want your used boxers. I have tissues ready.
Yeah.
Use your boxers for yourself. And then make sure you put them in the wash basket, not on the floor.
No, yeah, I completely agree.
The question sort of was, well, always have tissues ready because there might always be some excess.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
Timing and breathing is paramount.
Your face or in your mouth?
Oh, in the mouth.
Okay, no mess.
Well, as I say, there's always some.
Yeah,
there can be some, in the heat of the.
In the heat of the
spillage.
moment. Yes, yeah, definitely. Would you say you're a kinky person?
Childhood name is Dinky, Kinky Dinky. I don't know. I probably am more intrigued by things in my later years than I certainly was, but that would have been down to absolute ignorance that these things even could be done or should be done.
Yes, yeah.
And was okay to do. So I just didn't know.
So what have you tried recently that you've been surprised that you actually enjoy?
I am engaged, you know. Well, I tried recently that I was surprised to get a response first thing in the morning by jumping on it.
Okay, yeah.
There are early birds and night owls. I am a night owl across the board from everything.
Yeah.
And some others are seeming to be, it's a nighttime, bedtime, bedroom thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going, got a sofa here.
Yeah.
Morning, so being surprised in the morning, but kinky things.
Are you into handcuffs?
Have done that.
Okay.
Not in recent times. Would always recommend spend the extra couple of bucks and get the fairy ones.
Oh, why is that? Softer? Yeah.
You're still, stuck.
Yeah.
But doesn't hurt as much.
Okay.
You don't want burns on your I was going to say your ankles.
Yeah. That's a funny one. Ankles. I never thought of that.
To bedposts.
Yeah, you're one of those. Yeah. That's interesting.
That's brought back a memory. Okay.
Let's go with it.
And once again, fairy ones.
Yeah. Okay.
Or wrap something around them.
Yes. Okay. And what memory has this brought back?
That was fun.
When
I actually enjoy being the one in charge of it.
Okay. Yes.
And if I got silk is really useful in the bedroom.
Okay.
Well, wherever, but a silk tie.
Yes.
Silk.
Okay. You can do a lot with it. Yeah.
And to him.
Okay.
And just silk around the body.
Oh, okay.
Sensual things. Being blindfolded, whether it's yourself or the lucky recipient, if you're blindfolded, there's that suspense. You don't know what's coming next or where it's coming.
Yeah, definitely.
And that is really a turn on, I find,
wow. Okay.
for both. Just you're in charge, and it's just the reaction, getting those reactions and seeing what works where.
Yeah.
Feathers.
That's
silk.
another one. Yeah.
Make sure the feathers are clean. Don't just use them out the field. That's my top tip.
And how did you get started with that? How did you realise that was what you were into?
Probably reading. And someone reading some article or a book or something that said, and then they wrapped the silk tie around his eyes, or feathers or hot wax stripping. Yes, I have tried that as well.
What are you reading?
This was a long time ago. Yeah. The kind of stuff where girlfriends at college or when I first moved to London, someone would say, "Oh, have you read this?" And I'd say, "Oh, I'll have a look." And I know I'd probably be blushing because my sex education, the formal what you're supposed to, was, I think you and your friends would say, "Is that it?"
Yeah. And so talk to me about your sex education.
Well, this won't take long. My mum dragged me off down to the family planning clinic to get me put on the pill because she'd read my diary and bizarrely had worked out what my little codes meant.
Oh, no.
No matter how much I bluffed. No, it just meant we saw each other.
And how did you feel about her reading your diary?
That actually was, inevitable.
Yeah,
Some point, it's a mother, it's a daughter, I was still living at home. It was the being dragged off to the family planning clinic that was the embarrassing bit.
Wow, okay. And
I've just thought of a horrible story, but it was a good thing to share with you about something that happened with someone known to me who should have been protecting me and didn't.
Okay.
At that same time, a person known to the family for generations, like my mum's family, grandparents' family, and a respected member of the community and a doctor. We'll fast forward to him saying, I know you've been seeing this boy and that boy. Are you on the pill? You really should be on the pill. Why don't you come and see me at my practice after school? You don't need to tell your mum. So I didn't. And I took 2 bus rides to travel across town to see him. And such confusion in here and in here with this man telling me to sit on his lap while he examined me internally. Wow. And he's a doctor, and he's a family acquaintance. So that's... My parents don't know about that bit. Yeah. And I knew this wasn't right, but I was young. I was still at school, and he's a doctor. And the fact that there's no one else in the building, and then he gave me the pill, completely illegally. He shouldn't have been giving me the pill. It wasn't a prescription, but he said he was trying to look after me and protect me, but just don't say anything.
Yeah. And then did you never have to go back, or did you have to go back and see him again?
I can't remember. I can't remember that now. My dad found something out about him, that he turned up at my school at lunchtime to pick me up in his Rolls Royce to take me out for lunch. We weren't supposed to even leave school premises, small private school. Yeah. And someone saw the car and saw me in with it and recognised me and told my dad, who went round to have a word with him. That was the end of that.
That was the end of it.
Yeah.
Wow. And so...
That is a real... Oh, gosh, I'd forgotten that.
Yeah.
This is, the lesson, someone that you know, someone that you trust, and
that
also
you
a
never
doctor.
Expect. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go, that was something.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, because it means a lot that you feel comfortable enough to share that. How did you... obviously, you said you you haven't remembered that for a while. Can you remember going through your childhood and recollecting that and thinking and having those bad flashbacks of that? Or is it something you've literally blacked out and never
it's
even thought about it again?
See, whenever I go to my hometown to visit my family, I'm very good friends with one of his nephews. So although the man in question has been dead quite some time, every now and again, because I see his nephew and we're really good friends, and I've mentioned it to him, so, your uncle, he wasn't kind of abused me. He said, oh, you as well.
Right, okay.
And because of who he was in the community, it was just... So it was known, and I decided I can't let this affect my friendship with his nephew. But so every now and again, because of that friendship, it still comes into my head. And I also have to, when I go home, I have to drive past what was his house to get to my parents' house.
That must be so difficult.
It just makes me aware that I would tell any young girl, if anyone that is known to you suggests something and you don't feel quite right, don't.
Yeah, stick to your gut.
Don't.
Yeah.
And if it does happen, try to have the strength to tell someone. Yeah. Because I should have, but because of who he was and what he was within the community and the family friend, and I didn't, but I would really encourage any young person.
And when your dad found out, did you ever have that discussion with your dad?
My dad never found out about going over to...
Oh, so he just knew that he picked you up.
I'd been taken out for lunch, and they kind of put two together and realised he'd been grooming me. Yeah, and now I know the word grooming. Yeah. But I didn't know but that's exactly what he was doing. Yeah. Exactly.
And he never tried to reach contact again afterwards?
No. I think my dad was a well-respected man and dearly loved, and I think my dad was a very, very peace-loving man and calm man. So for my dad to have gone over and had words, that was that.
Yeah. And how do you feel that has shaped your future relationships?
At times I was nervous to being approached by any older man. That said, I then had 20 years with a man a lot older than me, 12 years older than me.
Okay.
But that's still 12 years. That's actually okay because my parents' age gap was 17 years.
Wow.
So it was not impossible that I might
Yeah,
go for an
do
older
the same
man.
thing. Oh my goodness. Okay, so
I've gone for one who's now younger than me, so that's working out beautifully.
Yeah. You're on average. And so, what was your first time experience? How was that?
This is so embarrassing. It was embarrassing and mortifying then. And he's such a git. He's still in my hometown as well. So he was the good-looking boy.
Yeah.
There was two. And all the girls, who's going out with him this week? Because it was like that then. It was like, you know, you'd go out, you'd have a boyfriend, it'd be for a few weeks. And then, and that seemed like a long time. And then who's going out with your friend? It's her turn now.
Another one, yeah.
Anyway, we did see each other quite a lot. And our first time, on the moor, which was just like 10 minutes walk from the family home. And he'd had the foresight to bring a condom, which my only experience and knowledge of condoms was finding them in my dad's bedside drawer as a child, and then went round to play with childhood friend who our mothers had gone to school together. So and we were blowing them up and filling them with water in the garden. Well, his mum called my mum, and that was the end of that.
Oh no! Did you know what it was?
No, I just thought, these are the slimiest balloons ever.
That's so funny.
And but they were, but they're harder to blow up.
Yeah. That's so funny. Okay, so this guy whipped out a condom.
Yes, and that was my first experience, and I got really into it, and it seemed very easy and natural. I was very lucky. I didn't have any pain or anything. And I mentioned it afterwards, and he looked at me in disbelief, said, "That was your first time?" I don't believe it.
No,
I was mortified. And I still am. I said, just because it came naturally to me.
Yeah.
Now I'm being told that I wasn't a virgin. It's like, I can't win.
Oh my goodness. But then I suppose, I don't know, I think personally for me, I would find it more achieving if
now
they
I need
have...
a drink.
I feel like I'd find it more pleasing that they've said, that's not your first time, but I suppose it's a completely different time.
No, I thought he was thinking I was a slut.
Yeah.
You know, and I was still at school. So,
wow. Yeah, I feel like that's completely changed, because I'll be like, oh my God, that must mean I'm brilliant, you know, compared to...
do you know what? I had hope for that reaction. Like, you're just a natural. Not, you've obviously done this before.
Oh, so it was like that.
I haven't. I just was natural. I'm just a natural at it.
Did you enjoy your first time or not?
I did up till then.
Yeah. And did you finish?
As in,
did you come?
Oh, God, no, that didn't happen for years.
Yeah.
That was, as I say, no sex education. It's all about getting pregnant, not getting gonorrhea.
Yeah.
And, that's it.
And how did you feel when someone first, fingered you or went down on you?
One thing at a time. Fingering, that all happened prior to losing virginity. The boys, fingered her. It's such an unpleasant phrase as well. I just always thought, is there nothing more delicate or, fingered her. And you'd hear it in the playground. It's going to be one of those.
Yeah.
So, and they did all those terrible boy things about smelling fingers afterwards.
That's awful.
It was. That's what boys did then.
Yeah.
And we knew no better.
Yeah.
And we thought it was quite a coup, if you'd had the attention of a hot boy.
Oh my goodness.
So that was the fingering. And
Yeah.
what was the second part of the question?
Going down on you.
Right. Well, again, refer you back to previous comment, lack of sex education. What is the formal word? I just want to hear you say it.
What, giving head?
No, the formal word.
For what? A blowjob? No. What?
Going down
Going down
on a girl
on a girl
is called...
cunnilingus.
There you go!
No!
All those school fees weren't in vain.
And I didn't even learn that from school. I learned that from a podcast, from this, like doing this. Someone said it, and I was like,
So
what
I
is
had
that?
no chance.
So yeah,
So-
that's mental. Like even still now, like
Even
the
if we
sex
were studying
education.
Latin, it did not come up,
Yeah.
as it were, all down.
Yeah.
So I had no knowledge of this. No one had mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
Not read it. Well, I didn't get it in the Princess Tina. So when a person who I was... Okay, so I was in bed with someone that I probably shouldn't have been.
Mm-hmm.
And then he suddenly started crawling down the bed head first. And where are you going? What are you doing? Why am I seeing this bottom?
What a weird way to go down.
What? And I was so freaked out. There was no chance of enjoying it. I was just, can you come back now, please? So, I mean, he just presumed I knew, and I definitely did not.
That's so funny.
And I can't remember how who I spoke to, if I did. But yeah, several relationships after that.
Yeah, you eased into it.
Yes, when it's done, with a little more I don't know. I don't know how it then... Yeah, that's really, really nice.
Yeah,
okay. There's a balance to be had.
Yeah.
It's something, for me, I don't know about other girls, that you don't have to have that every time you have sex.
Yeah.
Honest, you don't. Really, really, you don't. However, sometimes there are people close to me who think, well, that's all part of my package.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, but you don't, not if not. Anyway, so back to your first question. So yeah, the first time was a shock.
Yeah.
First of all, I'd never seen his backside sort of here. Where are you going?
It is true though. I feel so bad for even thinking this, but every time I look at a guy's bum, which isn't often, but every time it does give me the ick.
Well, when it's that close up.
Like, yeah, I'm sure. But even still, I do think that's just so unnatural
Get
on a
away
guy
from my
to have
nose.
a bum. Like, I just find it so it just seems so weird that, like, if it just skipped down, that'd be great.
And there was no notice. It's like, by the way, it was just heads down.
Yeah. So talking about your young relationships, how was it? Did you invite them back to yours and they'd come and stay at yours, or what?
To my parents.
Yeah. Well, what was that experience like?
Oh.
Like, getting into a first relationship. Was it with? Did you have to involve them in your family?
Best not to.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
No, you don't want your family knowing that you might do things naked.
Yeah, because I know we were talking earlier about, taking people home to your parents and how you would just never do it because the walls are so thin.
Oh, in later years when I was technically over 21 and living with someone. So if you're living with someone, your parents know that we're sharing a bed.
Yeah.
Just doesn't need to be mentioned. And they come home because I want them to be with my family, to see my hometown and blah, blah, blah. And going, she's done my brother's room up for you.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, no.
I said, well, you can sneak into my room, but this bed creaks.
Yeah.
That bed creaks, so it's on the floor or nothing.
Yeah.
Inevitably, carpet burns.
Are a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're never too old for carpet burns.
Well, okay.
Although, actually, in later years, I'd put the duvet down and a pillow. I've grown to love comfort. Which reminds me, haystacks, never.
Really? Have you done that then?
Yep.
How did that come about?
Oh, God.
Come
about? Opportunity.
Okay.
Opportunity, privacy.
You're just in a random
All
field?
the other kids were playing out over there. We were older teenagers. And it was, it's not seen by my family, is it? It was summer camp.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And there was barns. I mean, it was a boarding school that we had. That was during the summer. There was a summer camp. So haystack inside the barn.
Yeah.
No.
No. Okay.
great in movies.
Yeah.
As is On the Beach, great in movies.
Yeah.
Again, not so good in reality.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe not.
And what's the most adventurous sex you've ever had?
I did
Is
wonder
that
if
the
you'd
most
ask.
adventurous?
Well, I did think about this and think, I bet she's going to ask me that. There's been a few things, actually. Well, two that spring to mind that I did not instigate, and yet I went along with. Right. One being the most adventurous would have been. Well, it was an amazing experience.
Okay, that's the main thing.
So off the coast of Venezuela.
Oh, wow.
On a little island, waiting on the little jetty for the little plane to take us back, and the gorgeous guide, absolutely gorgeous guide, did I just say that? And I was younger.
Yeah.
And looking back at the photos, I go, not surprised.
Yeah.
And I had these shorts on. It was Venezuela, hot. And they were sort of not tight shorts.
Yeah.
And we're all standing, there's other people standing on the jetty waiting for this plane or the boat, I can't remember. His hand was inside my shorts and he made me orgasm standing there, and the noise of the plane coming in drowned out any noise from me.
But you were just standing there with other people around?
They were behind.
Wow!
Does that work for you?
Oh my gosh, that's amazing!
It was.
I'm jealous.
It really was amazing because the excitement and the, oh my God, what is he doing? I know he's so hot, but oh my God, we don't even speak the same language. But then with the plane, this little plane coming in and everyone else is looking at the plane and the noise of the plane and the vibrations on the... His timing was immaculate.
Wow, that's incredible.
Moving on.
So is that the guy that you then kept going back to?
No.
No.
That was a one-off. That was a one-off.
God, you might need your fan in a second.
I might need a new life.
That's amazing. And so what's the best sex you've ever had?
Oh, currently.
Okay. And is there...
That's what it says in my notes, isn't it? Yeah.
Is there a specific time? Like, can you remember being like, that was great? Or is it just overall?
Overall, I mean, you know, not far from here in fields in summers gone by, you know, we've gone, oh, those corn sheaves are quite high, aren't they?
Wow.
Got a blanket and down we went. No, I'm not telling you which fields, but there've been a couple.
That's amazing.
So that for me was wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
So best sex of my life is in my recent years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
The item I just mentioned previously in another continent, that was amazing. It's not, you know, that was a sexual experience.
Yeah.
As was the man on the plane. But you only asked for one experience.
I want them all.
A similar kind of thing. Long haul, overnight, chatting with nice, similar aged, very cute man next to me, and probably had a couple of drinks, and then I'm going to sleep. I mean, in another situation, you'd call for the police and say this man has just sexually molested me. However, it felt brilliant. So, look, it's not my fault. I was born to enjoy being sensual.
That's amazing.
It was.
Wait, so I'm so confused. So
No,
you were sitting on a plane,
so
chatting
he's
to
the
this guy.
passenger next to me.
Yeah.
It's a long haul overnight flight.
Yeah.
And we've gone really well, and just chat, and it's going on well. And then you've got your blankets on you, and then
And then
suddenly
you just did
his hand was underneath the blanket.
Wow. And did you do
As I
stuff
think you
back?
said, pleasuring.
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
No, I did not have to do anything. Nothing.
Wow.
It was his turn on, and I was happy to receive.
Wow.
And so it's kind of blurry. You know, you're on a long haul flight. You're in the I've probably just done 3 weeks travelling for work.
Yeah.
And jet lag is the least of my concerns. Or it's like,
Yeah.
and you go, it's so surreal because you're not
Yeah.
even on the ground. You're
Yeah.
And I thought, well, this is as close as I'm going to get to the Mile High Club.
Yeah. And you've never reached that?
Have you've been in many planes? They're very small. They really are. By the way, just that reminds me, having sex in your bath, unless you've got padding around it,
it's
you can
painful.
do your knees in really badly. You really can.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Trust me.
Any hard floor.
That does
really.
not happen anymore.
Do you think your sex will stop at one point? Or do you think you can never be too old for sex?
As long as you're physically capable of something, I can't see me stopping. I hope.
Yeah.
Because it keeps the blood moving.
Yeah, definitely. Probably keeps you sane.
makes you-
Okay,
Don't know about that bit, but it gives me a little bounce in my step.
Yeah.
I
That's
certainly
very good.
feel brighter,
Yeah.
warmer,
And,
and I love a shower.
okay, shower sex or car sex?
Shower.
Okay. Have you ever done it in a car?
Of course I have. I'll just tell you, I've been on a jetty in a plane.
You did all the transportation. Have you done it on a
Yes.
bus?
No, no.
Next stop.
It would have to be a private bus. No, not even at school. No, that didn't happen. On buses when we were at school, it was just a case of how many cigarettes you could smoke before you got home and then tell your parents that you just sat next to someone smoking.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, car sex. Yes, there have been some great car sex moments. But the bath or a big bath, I don't know, a walk-in shower. Actually, a very large walk-in shower springs to mind, a walk-through shower that had seats at either end
Oh, wow. Okay.
in a hot country.
Okay.
I think you've been there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, fabulous shower. Yeah, it was an
there more than
amazing
just-
shower.
Were there more than just two of you?
No, it's just the
Just
two
the
of us.
two.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Great bed as well, I seem to recall. Mattress, I think.
That's amazing.
It was.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad that was satisfactory.
Oh, more than.
Yeah, perfect. And also, so you were part of the casting community. You worked in casting.
I did some freelance work for a friend who had a casting facilities company, which basically they don't do the casting, but they provide the studio.
Okay. Oh, amazing.
So
Right, okay.
I would, have to process all the models. When I say process, that literally is doing the signing the documents, not checking them out, and making sure they know how to write their name in the right place. Really, sometimes. And so you'd see a lot of the models, you'd hear some of the stories, and then there'd be the casting directors. There are some gay casting directors who might have, in years gone by, tried to be possibly a little closer to some of the would-be models, not would-be. You'd see stuff and you think, oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
He just knows I'm either going to have to put up or not get the job.
Okay.
And there's nothing you could do because they're all over 18 and they just got to deal with it.
So did you watch quite a lot of the time? Because obviously there's the term the casting couch and stuff like that. Is it really true that,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
What was the question? Yes.
And
Yes, it did happen.
yeah.
Yes, I was propositioned, but I was very happy at home at those times. And I somehow, in the same way that I had the inner strength not to become a junkie like some of my friends did, literally they all discovered religion as in a guru in India, so they'd meditate for 5 hours a day before they shot up some heroin, and I just didn't get that. I thought,
Wow.
what? So
God.
I had the inner strength to resist that,
Yeah.
and I had the inner strength to resist people propositioning me when I was actually really happy at home.
Yeah.
That said, I've been my happiest in my life in the last 9 years.
Yeah.
So that should say something.
That's amazing.
The casting couch, I did have to... I had someone who's a commercials director who was one of the stable that I worked with when I worked in production. And he was such a nice bloke. And he used to take me out for lunch from time to time. And that was it. And then one day he took me out for lunch, walked me back to my office, and then suddenly his tongue was sticking in my mouth. And that was really upsetting. And I did push him off. And
That's not what you want.
And he just, oh, well, I'll speak to you later. And nothing changed as far as he was concerned.
Yeah.
He was not offended or disappointed. He just thought, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
But for me, it changed how I thought about him completely.
Yeah,
How could you be my friend?
Yeah.
But maybe he was grooming me. I don't know now that I know what grooming is.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a couple of times things like that within my industry happened. That said, I've only ever been hit on by one woman. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Wrong perfume or something? I don't know.
And what was
I don't know how I would react before you ask. And no, I haven't.
And where were you when this woman hit on you?
Probably an advertising festival, probably an event.
Yeah.
And someone who's really friendly. We get on so well, so friendly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was really friendly, isn't it? Okay, maybe time to go now.
Yeah. And do you think the casting industry is changing now, or do you think it's still very much the same?
No, I think it's definitely changed.
Okay, that's good.
What happened in America and the snowball effect on that.
Yeah.
I think there's probably pockets where it will still exist. I think possibly in the porn industry, possibly, but certainly mainstream world, I think because of what's happened in the last couple of years, the Me Too, I stuck my hand up and went, Me Too.
Yeah.
To myself, I then decided not to put my name up online. But I went, yes, this is what happens.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to react, and I didn't know who I could turn to. And I was too embarrassed and mortified to tell anyone. And yet, here I am telling you what happened with that doctor.
Yeah.
So I think the casting couch, I think if anything, it might have slightly turned on its head in that maybe what would have been the targets may find that they now have more of the power. And they, there's always been occasions when the model, the actor, actress, whatever, musician, might flirt with the producer, the director.
So you think it's more the other way.
So
maybe.
I think, nowadays, I think they should be very cautious.
Yeah.
I think people are probably a lot more cautious and aware that lawsuits can come like that.
Yeah.
He said, she said, he
Definitely,
did. So I think it has changed.
And did you feel a level of pressure to do certain things at a certain point in your life and to either sleep with a person or to not to, or or even when it was your first time, did you feel a level to have sex when you didn't want to? Or is it
that first time with the boy who didn't believe it was my first time, did I feel pressure? Oh, it's shocking. I just went with it.
Yeah.
I was probably one of the later ones in my gang of friends.
And do you feel like you just go for
girls
it later?
used to come back from holiday, from summer holidays, and all the boys would be home from boarding school, and there'd be a couple of girls, and they'd come into school, and they'd have love bites on their hip to show that the boy had been down there, but wouldn't be shown so that they wouldn't get in trouble at home.
So
that's what used to have love bites down there.
Oh.
X marks the spot, and they'd all be shown in the gym changing rooms.
Yeah.
And share that.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Now we were talking about your. Well, you lived in Soho for a while.
I lived in Soho 3 separate times, on off. What an amazing experience to be able to do that.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, hey, the commute to work took like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was perfect. Yeah.
The community in Soho was. A lot of people think Soho is the sex industry.
Yeah.
No, there's actually, yes, there is that. Mm-hmm. But then there'd be one bloke who'd be on the door from first thing in the morning, bless him, not far from my office. And I'd walk past him most days, and if he was on the door, he'd say, "Morning, lady." And, you know, that was it, a sort of certain respect. So there was this whole other world of people who lived in Soho, as opposed to, and you'd get to recognise the hookers, and then you'd get to recognise the really, really, really bad hookers. Sorry, that's a mean thing to say, but they're the ones that were really at the bottom.
At the lowest of the low.
Yeah. They couldn't even go to having the cards in the telephone boxes.
Okay.
And you'd see them. But you'd see stuff. Oh my goodness.
Really?
You think,
wow.
Have you no shame? No, you have alcohol and you have his wallet. So
so maybe they're the clever ones.
It's just staying alive, I think. Staying alive.
Wow.
There was never very much policing either in Soho, not with regard to that.
And is it still like that, or has it changed?
COVID changed a lot in Soho.
Yeah.
Because I think certainly in Soho, I'd be amazed if there was more than a handful of English ladies. They were all from overseas. Soho, when I first moved to London, and my very first job and first lived in Soho, I've never lived away from home.
Yeah.
And this was my job, moved down to London, and I was living in Soho, and now I've lost track of what I was telling you about. This was so much fun. It was eye-opening.
Yeah.
What was your question?
That's amazing. Just about the sex in Soho, and you were just saying
yes, you could walk down a street, and there's alleyways in Soho. There are alleyways. Mm-hmm. Don't live anywhere where there's alleyways.
Yeah.
Because I would want to use them as the shortcut. I knew them as a shortcut. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I have to take the long way around tonight.
Yeah. Wow.
But you were also aware that every now and again there'd be something bad happen to someone. You know, a girl was raped in one of those alleyways. Then the local council would put up lighting. And I started to remember things my dad had taught me was, if you're walking around at night on your own, have your keys in your hand, have a key ring, have your keys ready. Mm-hmm. And he taught me where to put money very sharply.
Yeah.
Just to give me some sense of protection.
Do you think it's sad that we have to learn that as women, or do you think it's...
I think probably anyone should know some sort of protection, how to defend themselves. Yeah. Because, you know, back then, yes, it would be more about a male unwanted attentions or physical attack. But I think these days, you know, every young person should know how to defend themselves, because I don't know how it was for men, young boys then, with predators, if they had to defend themselves. I know of one gay friend, who was attacked repeatedly by big, stronger men. Yeah. And he just didn't know how to fend them off. Yeah. And that damaged him permanently, psychologically. Yeah. But I've had the best time living in Soho. I got away unscathed. And you have to just be careful who you tell you live in Soho. Some people say you live in the West End. Okay. Which is what my mother always told people. When I was first in Soho, living in Soho, a lot of the names on the doorways were French names. It would be Valerie, Veronique, that kind of thing. Yeah. Then later it changed from the French names, and it's all Eastern European names. You do not want to mess with them. They're tough as nails.
Wow.
And it would be the men who came off the worst.
Yeah.
But COVID happened, and I knew, well, I could see windows that I had previously been open with a red light.
Yeah.
Those girls all left. They all went back to whichever Eastern European countries. Westminster Council occasionally got on top of it, and then they, padlock all these doors. And then depending on who they were...
Yeah.
And yes, it happened. And I will say that.
Wow.
Because some doors suddenly were open again for business.
Yeah.
Other doors not so much.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But yes, people, you just have to be careful which gentleman friend you said you lived in Soho.
Yeah.
Because they would just go from A to Z.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Wow. And so we were discussing about your relationships throughout your life, and you've said you've been engaged 3 times.
Yeah, 3rd time lucky.
Okay, and so can you talk to me why it hasn't gone any further, basically, than engagement?
At the end of the day, I always stopped to think, would my dad approve if he knew what he was, how he was treating me, this guy? And if I thought my dad wouldn't have approved, then I can't do this.
Yeah.
And that's always been would my dad have got on? Would my dad have approved of the way I was being looked after or treated? And if there was stuff I was hiding from my parents, which I did, because I'm stubborn and I didn't want to change. Yeah. I thought I could do stuff myself. I thought I could sort things out myself.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you can't. Or I couldn't.
Yeah.
In those situations. But yeah, so first one ended because he had an affair with the stylist on his album.
Oh my goodness.
Who was the wife of the engineer.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And everyone involved in the project were protecting my fiancé because and I was kept being told, don't upset the artist, the project, the money, don't upset the artist. Yeah. So any confusion I had with why this woman was spending so much time with him, and he wasn't explaining very well to me why. Anyway, so that's... Yeah,
well, good for you to believe it. Wow.
And the second one, it just was 20 years.
Wow.
It was... Things happened to enable me to make it real easy to then walk away.
Yeah.
And move back to London from living overseas.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I thought, I just need a break. I just need to gather myself, regroup, be back in England, love my job, just do all that. And then who do I go and meet? Admit it, I mean, it was a year and a half later, so I had...
You had a bit of time.
Oh, here's one. I'm living that. I've just come back. I'm fragile. I am really, really fragile about having a relationship because of what happened with the previous one.
Yeah.
Over a long period. And met someone through friends. And get on. We go out for a couple of dates. And it's only a couple. And I think second or third date drives me back. Parked outside where I live in Soho. And out of nowhere, he takes my hand and puts it on his lap.
Oh my God.
Still in the car. Says, I've got something for you.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
The bit that I mentioned to you that I'm quite fragile emotionally and so that never happened.
Wow, good for you.
We're actually friends now, but I've still never actually said to him, do you know what really screwed yourself? When you did that. Because that
it's mental
was not nice. That was not nice. Yeah. We'd had a lovely dinner out, and I love the sushi, and now you go and do that.
Yeah. God.
So,
God.
That was. What about the boyfriend I had that I came back from a visit to my family, and my dad was an amateur photographer, and he had his own darkroom in the house and loads of contact sheets. And I found this little picture of me, aged about, I don't know, 5. And this little picture, I thought, oh, it's so cute. I'll cut it out and I'll put it in his wallet while he's asleep. So when you open up his wallet, you see that picture. Not expecting to see a Polaroid of a girl who looked a spit image of a cross between me and his ex-wife wearing my night dress that he bought me.
No.
Hang on, tied to our banisters.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And that was the night dress he bought for me for our first weekend away together.
Wow.
And then he begged me not to say anything because she was the girlfriend of his coke dealer that I didn't know about either.
What? Oh my goodness.
You might need another episode with me.
Yeah, God. Wow. You've had a life.
I did say.
Wow. Oh my goodness, that's insane. And
I've forgotten about that.
so do you see yourself...
He's dead now, by the way.
Do you... I don't know how to react. So do you see yourself getting married now?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
In your garden, I think.
Oh, wow.
Well, now I've
That'd
seen
be
all the
lovely.
accessories.
Yeah, feel free. But...
I never felt I was with someone who I truly felt I could trust. I truly felt he respected me. Mm-hmm. He was sensitive, and that my dad, because my dad died 13 years ago. 13 years ago. That my dad would have gone, yeah, and that there's nothing to hide.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow, that's good though that you...
Third time lucky.
Yeah. Wow. And so now you're a stepmom.
Yeah.
How does that feel? And how are you approaching the subject coming to obviously being a stepmom, that you've never had kids of your own.
Correct.
Did you ever want kids of your own?
In my naivety, because I'm one of 3, and we had a blissful childhood. Blissful. It was just I feel so bad when people say, oh, my dad did this, or my mum ran away, and I go, I had a great time.
Yeah.
It was lovely. Apart from I wasn't allowed a pet because my mum had never had pets, and she said she didn't want us getting upset when they died. So now I've had pets, and now I get absolutely torn apart when they die. So I didn't go through that. Thanks, Mum. Lost track again.
Just how you feel about children, and
I always thought
how you approach
that I
the
would
subject of
have
having a
children.
stepchild. Yeah.
Always thought, well, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to get married, and I'll have children. And,
Yeah.
what happened was, first one, no, because he had the affair with the stylist, which I should have known. I mean, she had a sign on her studio door that said, I'm a witch and a bitch. Oh. That should have been a clue, really.
Yeah.
Really. And she used to burn sage around the place. And,
Oh, God.
yeah, not close enough. So that was never going to happen, although I did think, in the early years that, of course, we'll have children. And the second one, well, I inherited a package deal of 4 children because his wife had died. I knew her,
okay.
she was a friend, and so I inherited a package deal of 4. So I wasn't
Are you
really
still in
sure.
contact with them?
With a couple of the children.
Okay.
Just the children.
Yeah.
And some of his relatives.
Yeah.
And in fact, with the previous one, I'm a godmother to one of his nephews.
Ah, wow.
Still very much in touch with his sister and his brother, just not shithead himself.
And what are
He is in the music business.
yeah, typical. What are the difficulties of being a stepmom, especially to 4 children, as you said at one point, and now it's just the one?
Well, with the 4, it only really applied to the 2 elder ones. I think my years with them, the sex bit didn't really come into it because their father was so open about it.
Oh, okay.
So open. I didn't need to even get involved in that.
Yeah.
Things that I did would be to try to be them in the middle so that I could say to one in particular, I know you're doing drugs. I know you're doing speed. Look at your face.
Yeah.
Look at how your skin has reacted. So I have lived. Please don't try to con me because I'm not your dad.
Yeah.
And so I took that approach. But the sex thing, I didn't have to deal with.
Because it must be quite challenging when, I'm just thinking about other people that are then going to become stepmoms. It's quite...
Except for when the eldest child got the au pair pregnant. Yeah, I was around for that.
Oh my goodness.
Cliche upon cliche. Your mum's just died, so the au pair, who's only 3 years older than you, decided to give you some TLC.
Wow.
But
my goodness.
That's a whole other episode.
Wow. Anyway.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. But do you find that, to the other mums the other wives that are going to become stepmoms or whoever, is there a level of you don't want to show that you're parenting them because they're obviously not your children, you don't want to get in the way, but also you need to, how do you settle that boundary?
Talking about it beforehand.
Yeah.
Saying, do you want me to say something about this or would you rather say something about this?
Okay.
With my current situation, that's completely different. Yeah. That's not something I should go into.
Yeah, no, of course.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
deeply blush-making that can be.
Yeah, but no, definitely with your previous...
But previous, it would be because they're not my kids, right?
Yeah.
I would always discuss it with the parent and say, this one's asked me about this, and I say, I want to run it by your dad.
Yeah.
And that's how I would deal with it.
Yeah, which I think is a good way, I guess.
Well, once again, I would say he was so open with them. I really had very little to need to have to be involved with.
Yes, yeah. Do you think they should be open, or do you think there's a level?
I think there's a line. If my parents had ever started to try and educate me about... Is there an official name for a blowjob? What's the official name?
A blowjob? No.
Is there an official name?
Fellatio.
So it is. Watch and learn. The thought of me even mentioning it, because then in your head you think, do they do that?
Yeah. And when you were talking about blowjobs...
Bear in mind, my mum had never been with anyone before my dad, and that was the love of her life.
Wow.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So whatever my dad knew...
You've made up for it.
My dad and mum were obviously very passionate.
Yeah.
I hope. 17 years difference, age difference, and lived happily ever after.
Yeah.
But no, there was no. And my dad, no.
And when we were talking about you realising what a blowjob was and giving one as well, how did that come about?
So, as a teenager, I had a girlfriend who was a couple of years older than me. She was already at university, and she had... we used to hang out... I used to go and be her +1, so she wasn't standing there looking like a lemon, because she was going out with the drummer of a band called Last Exit, who someone called Sting was the singer for.
Wow.
And we used to go, and she was going out with the drummer, and she said, can you come and stay with me in the pub? I don't want to be on my own.
Yeah.
So we'd do that. Anyway, she told me what a blowjob was. I must have heard the phrase, what is this blowjob thing? What were they talking about? And she just said, well, you have to... just imagine it's an ice cream. I like ice cream. Probably could have done with a little more detail, but... but that's pretty much all I got.
Wow.
And you live and learn as someone goes, you learn.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Wow.
So it was, ice cream.
Yeah.
Every flavour.
Amazing. Wow. Yeah, great. We're going to go to audience questions now.
Are we? Oh, can I mention about hair in bed?
Oh, go on.
Because your hair is immaculate. You look gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you so much.
This I've only brushed slightly because I wanted to remind myself to talk about this issue. If you've got fine hair,
Yes.
right, you can. I mean, there's a reason why some people say get a silk pillowcase. They say it's so you don't get creases in your cheeks. Bollocks.
Yeah.
It's so you don't get sex knot. I did not know the expression, but my hairdresser told me it. Now, he's very, very gay. And I turned up one day and I got this knot thing here.
Yeah.
I can't get it. I said, I don't know what's happening. And he took a, darling, you have a sex knot. What have you been doing with him? So your head's rubbing up and down on the pillow, and if you've got really fine hair... Has no one ever shared this with you?
No!
Well, lesson learned.
Wow!
And you cannot untangle it.
Really?
You cannot. So, and yet my other half gets really proud if he gets told that, you know, there was another sentence.
That's so great. I've definitely had knotty hair, but unfortunately that's not because of it. Yeah.
Well, he took one look and he knew exactly what it was from.
That's so funny. Do you have any fantasies that remain unfulfilled?
Well, I'm bound to. I'm quite creative. I'll say yes. Mm-hmm. You want more than that? You want to know what they are?
Not if you're not comfortable.
No, I just hadn't thought about it. Just keeping on doing it. In hot countries.
Oh, yeah.
Hot countries just make me...
Get you going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A suntan.
Oh.
So that if you just happen to glimpse, you say, oh, actually, I'm not looking so bad. So that's, I find that is really helpful.
Yeah. I see. Oh, nice.
Warm air at night, outside.
Oh, yeah.
On a sun lounger, if it's got strong legs. Always check these things first.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, you don't want to make that mistake.
Always.
Okay. Have you ever made a sex tape?
Not to my knowledge. I've had in the past a couple of people who have wanted to take a photo because and this was a long time ago, I said, do you know what? Something inside me just says, don't trust them.
Yeah.
Don't trust them. Accidents happen, things go wrong, things get stolen. So to my knowledge, no.
Yeah, okay. And have you ever been involved in a threesome?
I did a runner. It would have actually been a foursome. It was a threesome I walked into. So this lovely friend of mine and her even lovelier mother, her dad had her dad already died? No, the parents were going away. And Mum asked me, said, would you keep an eye on her over the weekend? Thinking that I was the more responsible. Well, actually, it turned out I was the more responsible. We were both going out with Greek students that we shouldn't have been. And we'd gone round, I think we were out somewhere in a bar, and then I'd lost track of her. I had to ask all the others, where's this one gone? Where to go back to the flat? Okay, go back to the house where all the students lived, and had to... No, it wasn't. Obviously, it wasn't hers because she lived with her parents. So I go up to Makis's room, to knock on the door. Come in, we're here. Open the door. There's the three of them in the bed. And that was my first time I'd ever seen not just children all together in a bed. And they're saying, come on. The Greeks are going to the two Greek boys who were friends.
Yeah.
Really good friends. And there's the girl I'm supposed to be keeping an eye on. And she's not about to leave. No, I think I don't want to come and join you. I remember literally reversing, backing out the room. I said, it's okay, Jenny, I'll just wait down the room and down the corridor. And I ran. And another Greek student, who I'm still in touch with on Facebook, he said, you okay? Come in here. And he just let me stay there and looked after me. And I have a beautiful picture that he painted, caricature of Beethoven, that is up on our wall right now.
Oh.
So he rescued me, and then I dragged the tart back home.
That's so funny. The stories you mentioned, e.g. the pain and the jetty, are amazing fun stories and obviously consensual. How does that reconcile with the new world where everyone is highly nervous regarding consent, etc.?
It's a difficult thing to comment on because it was such a different time. It wasn't actual full penetrative sex either on either of those instances, so I didn't have to worry about safe sex.
Yeah.
All the girls were on the pill. We didn't, as long as we then got on the pill, we didn't worry about condoms, so we didn't really have education about sexually transmitted diseases.
Yeah.
And thank God I never got one.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about
But when looking back on it, do you think that it probably would have been better if they did ask for consent, or do you think that would take the fun out of it? Because
it would never have happened.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Excuse me, do you mind if I just stick my hand down your shorts while we're waiting for this small plane in front of all these people standing behind? I don't think I'd have said yes.
Yeah.
In any language.
Yeah. Yeah.
And on the plane, had I been asked, I probably would have asked to be moved. But at the times, I just kind of rolled with it.
Yeah.
Or stood with it, or sat with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't see anything would have been different then. It would just not happen now.
Yeah. Do you think that's a good thing or bad thing?
It's just a different thing.
Yeah.
It's just life changes, things evolve,
Yeah,
times
definitely.
evolve, our attitudes change. I don't regret it at all. I'll say that one more time. No, it was, I mean, at the time, just after that, I went, bloody hell, did I just do that?
Well, that's sometimes what makes it fun.
Particularly on the jetty. It's like,
Yeah.
and that plane, the sound of the plane drowning out and the vibe.
That's so funny.
The timing was, shall we say, immaculate.
Yeah. How do you feel regarding youngsters now walking the tightrope between consensual and non-consensual sex?
I think it should always be consensual. I hope that young people today have enough information bombarded at them from probably a lot earlier than I was and my friends, that they would know that it is absolutely their right to choose when is the right time.
Yeah.
That said, I'm sure there are many, many individuals that go for it because they think they have to. I think probably kids at school probably still suffer the same pressure.
Yeah.
That they can be vilified for not putting out and then vilified if they do.
Yeah.
I think that possibly hasn't changed much in some sections of society. Whereas I think the counterbalance would be that with all the publicity there's been in recent years, I think that probably people are safer and stronger to stand up and say, get out of here.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not across the board. I have no doubt that there's still girls who feel pressured.
Yeah.
And boys within boy relationships, whatever tag name you go by these days.
Yeah.
I think there will always be people who feel pressured who don't have the experience or the inner strength.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think that will ever change.
Yeah. And last question, do you plan ahead for the type of sex you'll have, or is it more of a spur of the moment?
Depends if it's a child-free night. Do I plan? I might, on my own, make plans and say, lovely sofa over there. It's not always about the bedroom, you know? That kind of thing. So does that count?
Yeah, definitely.
Then yes.
Great. And what advice would you give to anyone that's thinking about having sex, that's going to go through it, not too sure how they feel about it?
speak to some girlfriends that you know have had,
Yeah.
or who are already in relationships, or maybe a cousin or someone that is maybe not exactly your age, but might have had a little more experience that you feel that you could ask. If not someone a bit older, then ask one of your chums, one of your schoolmates, one of your friends. You know, he's pushing for it, and I'm not sure I'm ready for it. Don't go for the pressure. Yeah. Just try. I mean, there are so many ways to be instantly in touch with someone. You can be in the bed and secretly texting underneath, can't you? Yeah. Do I say yes, no? Do I chuck him out? Try. What would I recommend? What would I hope for? That if you have let yourself get into a situation that you might, in retrospect, say, what was I thinking going up to his room? Yeah. I mean, I had an next experience of Venezuela again, but a bad one. I just hope that they would have the strength to know that, you know, stop, get out, or no, I'm not ready for this, I'm not ready for this, I'm not ready for this. Yeah. If you love me, rather than just lust me, love, not lust. Yeah. Lust comes with it, but let me love me first. Yeah, definitely. Make me feel safe. Make me feel special, that I'm just not another notch. Yeah. Because that's a bit schoolboy-like. It's just feel like, you know, the notch on the headboard kind of thing. Yeah. Or don't just go with the hunk just because he is the hunk, because you are only ever going to be another number. Only. That's a lesson learned. Okay. Like when you discover, like, all your friends all slept with him for the same reason. What? Yeah. That's lesson learned. Funny. That's great. Well, I've got you a gift for coming on the show. The gift was sharing and opening up to you in ways that I never thought I would tell you. So I thought it was a bit childproof, but it's a mug saying I love cock, but without the C, so... I love ock. I do. There was an Ockenden Manor somewhere in here. Oh, really? Maybe we should check that out. There you go. Well, Tatiana... Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for coming. I did not come. Thank you. That was amazing. This is Danielle, everyone. If you would like to be a part of the show, please check out our website at www.dirtytalkofficial.com. We welcome all sexualities regardless of your sexual experience. If you would like to be an audience member only, please get in touch the same way. Like and subscribe on all social media platforms.